Good morning and welcome. I'm Vicki Hagberg, the Regional Director of Northland Small Business Development Center. We're here today to learn more about AI in the second of our 5-part webinar series here in spring 2025. And to kick things off today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the SBDC services, how folks can access those, and then I'm going to turn it over to Diane, our lead presenter today, to introduce herself and give us some really valuable knowledge about how to use AI for small businesses. Northland SBDC provides no cost and confidential technical assistance to small businesses and entrepreneurs. And so what that really means is we help people in a few different categories around understanding finances and cash flow, with developing business plans and understanding strategy for your business. And we also have experts in key areas like marketing and human resources and QuickBooks training that can provide one-on-one, no-cost assistance to you. So if you are an entrepreneur that is looking to start a business or has a business and is looking for some assistance, we encourage you to go to northlandsbdc.org, click the red Request for Services button, and you will connect you with a consultant in your area that will work one-on-one with you. So that's a little bit about the Northland SBDC. One of our priorities for 2025 is to help business owners learn how to use AI effectively and responsibly. And today we have Diane, who's here to give us some knowledge. And Diane, would you please introduce yourself and kick off our webinar today?
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Vicki. And I'm really excited to be here. I know we have about 26 people, so our chat is open. And today we're going to talk about marketing with AI, which is, I know, one of the services that the SBDC provides. So tell us a little bit about you and the chat, and let's get to know each other. We're going to dive into some really juicy stuff. And for me, I love all things marketing because I know as business owners, this is something that we want, right? Is to make sales and also not spend a lot of time to really make that business to work for us. That's why we became business owners, because we want that freedom. And before I introduce myself, I want to make this really be something that you guys are going to walk away to have this for your business. So this is a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so the first thing is that we're going to talk about if you even really need AI, right? So some people are just like iffy in terms of like, well, what is AI and why do I even need this for my business? So we're going to take just a little bit of time on the front end so we can level set. And also we're going to talk about what can it even help you. If you're not sure, we're going to do that. And also, of course, we're going to do some real life exercises. And also we're going to go beyond ChatGPT because that's so popular. I want you guys to walk away with some additional tools in your pocket so you can stand above the noise, and also things that might cost you a big mistake I see when it comes to marketing in AI. Okay, so those are the things. If you guys are excited, give us a yes in terms of you are in the right room and just making sure that this is what you're coming here for. And then also, the other thing that I just kind of, again, like I want to make this presentation for you, right? Like that's what Vicki and Jenny and I are talking about in terms of just like, I'm kind of curious what you resonate with. If you're just like, I've been kind of head in the sand, new to AI, type of one in the chat. If you're curious about AI too, I'm seeing some twos in the chat. If you're excited, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like I'm here to learn on all things AI. So I'm seeing a bunch of threes, extra threes. So definitely I have some more exciting things that hopefully you're gonna love because I've been diving into that as well. So thank you for that. So again, this is for you both if you're in the newish side of things, and also this is for you if you're not new and you want to hear about all things AI. So that is what you're gonna learn. So the reason that I wanted to bring this to the front end is because I came here. I'm from the Philippines originally, and also I love food. So if you guys know of some fun food places to check out when I come visit you up north, let me know. I love all that thing. My background is in computer science, so this is not new to me. I've been doing this all my adult life. I've helped different corporations from the educational space, from like financial institutions. I've helped like Huntington Bank and MoneyGram and all of these different places. I've helped like retail and e-commerce P&G, Unilever, General Mills. So my background is very diverse, and now I've kind of pared that down to help small businesses. Also, I've helped coaches, service providers, all those different things, right? So this is definitely something that I love doing. So that's why we're going to dive into those kinds of stuff. So enough about me. I do want to point out this is the picture I love sharing because I'm the oldest in my family, and yet I'm not the tallest anymore. My siblings were kind enough to duck a little bit because that was their birthday gift for me. So that was just a little side note about myself. Okay, so what I want to do here, I want this to be a fun kind of really educational, but also I want this to be a training that helps you to stand out, right? Again, like from a restaurant perspective, I don't want you to blend in regards to like everyone else is doing the same thing. I want you to be like the top notch type of a restaurant owner if you have one, or whatever that industry is for you. So I want you to walk away from this training to supercharge your online presence without losing your brand voice, and then also craft a content, right? I want you to have one that speaks directly to your dream clients, that makes them to want to be in business with you. So I didn't want it to autoplay. So before we dive in, I have a fun question for you. And this is what I have here. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go to the next slide. And this is what I have. Here's the fun question. AI can replace the mundane tasks of business. What would you do with all the extra time? So that video that I just played for you, I'll tell you how I created it later on with the tool I used. That is completely AI. Okay, so again, like for the threes in the room, this is that more advanced stuff. If you already know this, well, I'd love to kind of get to know you a little bit because I've trained AI to look and sound just like me. This is the marketing tools that I help my clients to leverage and stuff like that. So again, like we're not just going to talk ChatGPT. We are going to talk ChatGPT. So again, we're kind of looking at all the different areas, but I want you to see how much AI has improved the last year or so already. Okay. So let's start with the basics. Okay. So I want, again, level set this. Do you even really need this? It seems kind of scary, right? Like in terms of just like, oh my gosh, like it sounds like you, it looks like you. What is this world becoming? Well, let me give you some statistics. Okay. Because I love numbers, right? Like data always drives business decisions, in my opinion. So some of the statistics, right? So I put the reference here for you. What I found is that about 72% of non-adapters say it's actually the lack of knowledge that makes them hesitate a little bit in terms of them wanting to take a look at AI. And also about 75%, so like 3 out of 4 people in a room, feel that AI give them a competitive advantage, right? So if you're one of the 3 people, it's just like you're standing above the noise. And also about 67%, so 2 out of 3 people, they have a fully defined AI strategy. So that means that it's just like very robust, and they're not just depending on ChatGPT, right? So that's the other thing. And I know you guys would love to know the money part of the equation, right? So this is the actual potential average savings, assuming that, you know, like some entrepreneurs, especially if you're a small business owner, you might be working 50 hours, and assuming you're making 53 hours, and these are actually based on the SBE Council's estimates, not just something I made up. So according to them, you might be saving about $40,000 a year, and also saving yourself about 750 hours every single year. Again, the question that my AI version asks you, what kind of fun things would you do with that extra time and money in your pocket, right? So that is why AI is going to be this really cool tool you'll have in your marketing, in your business, as we kind of help you to better understand what that could do. This is just from a monetary and the time savings. Okay, so hopefully that's exciting to you. So let's talk about what it can actually do. Now that it's just like, okay, I'm a little convinced. So hopefully you guys are a little bit convinced. I see you guys are still hanging out with us here. So let's talk about what can it help you. Here's a whole bunch of lists, because to be honest, it's always growing, and there's a lot of things here, right? So emails, content, SEO, analytics, some of these words probably don't even mean anything to you or already confusing as it is without even AI. Chats, ads, leads, some of them you may or may not be using, right? So let us know in the chat which ones you're already using or not using, or you have any questions. Again, like use the Q&A or use the chat feature. We'd love to have this as a conversation with you. And so what I want to do is we want to take a step back and hyper focus on the conversation from a marketing perspective, okay? Because let's define what marketing is supposed to do for your business first. If I had a 5th grade marketing class, this is what I would do. And hopefully this is 5th grade level. This is just what I would say for myself if my little siblings were asking me, is that let's go beyond just like this really generified answer of marketing is the know, like, trust. So I want you to really dive into what it means for you, because AI could have told you that it's know, like, trust is marketing. So from my perspective, there's really 3 sides. You need your branding, which really focuses on you and what you want, your special offers, all these things. Like Nike has that swoosh, you know, everyone talks about it. McDonald's has that golden arch, all these things. So you know that this is you, this is how you want to show up in the world. The sales part focuses on the desires and the pain points, focuses on your clients, so they actually pay for something that they want. So what is that leave marketing? Marketing then is what I like to call, it's the bridge to close the gap, right? So if you have the gap, it goes from one side, all about you, to all about them. So marketing kind of helps to bridge that from that perspective. And instead of, you know, like trying to convince people, AI is here to help you with these tasks, and it helps to fast track to get them that results and that sales to be faster. How cool is that, you guys? Like, that's what AI is here to help with the more mundane tasks, from the strategy, from the content, and all those things, right? So that is what we're doing today. And I want you to be able to better leverage AI, the good side, and then also take you on the better side of things. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the analogy. And this is another analogy that I like. I'm all about analogies. It's like my clients come to me and they're like, I'd like to just come to you instead of ask ChatGPT, because I'm really fast with these. So here's how I feel people are leveraging ChatGPT. And then before I do that, I want to tell you, because this is something I had to learn, even though I have a computer science degree. It was just like, I didn't know what Gen AI was. Like when the last session was, I'm like, what is Gen AI? This is new to me. So let's take a step back, so we're all on the same page. The way that AI is so popularized right now is ChatGPT, and it's just one type. And it's called the generative AI, which is Gen AI. And what that means is that it creates new content, text, images, videos, all these things, and it uses machine learning, right? Fancy term, techie term, but it really just uses what you put in there, what you feed it from existing data, and then it creates new stuff based on that same data. So it doesn't know any different. It just literally repurposes. There's a couple other like types that I'm just sharing here. There's other ones out there. Reactive, which is like the chess game, right? Like it's gonna like react based on your chess moves. There's predictive, which is what they use for weather forecasts, which it's kind of getting better. I still don't know when I should bring an umbrella. But yeah, so there's different AIs that exist out there. So back to Gen AI, which is what most people use right now for ChatGPT. The analogy I use for this one is this right here, which is some people use the Xerox model. If I'm old enough to use the Xerox, right, for an analogy. So copy machines versus like the prompting, the engineering model. So the good is if you're using just the templates, the better is if you're engineering. So those are the 2 common ways that people use it. So let's talk about each one real quick, so that you can better leverage tools like ChatGPT. Okay, so if that's good for you, let's go ahead and dive in. So carbon copy templates. Let's talk about that first. And if you guys want me to slow down or dive deeper on anything, just let us know in the chat. Again, like this is meant for you, okay? So this is what I mean by carbon copy templates. When people say like my business and then in parentheses, type your industry here and what role you're doing or what your role you want ChatGPT to play, or here's my expertise and this is what I want you to do. Those are what I mean by templates. And they work. Don't get me wrong. Like this is something that, especially if you're just starting out, this is something for you to test how well AI is going to work. So please don't like take what I'm saying and like not use it. You can definitely start here, okay? But what I feel happens is if you just continue to do this, is that pretty soon you're getting like, if you guys have used a copy machine, it leaves these little like specks, right? Like in the sense that even if you use a color copy machine, it's just like you can tell that it was a copy, you can tell that it's not the original. So it's just over time, it just kind of devalues, and then pretty soon you have like grayed out, like kind of watered down message. So it's just I don't want that for anybody, especially in your marketing. If you're here and you're meant to stand out, right? I don't want you to have this like carbon copy of everyone else's message, and then you're starting to kind of just get watered down. Okay. Here's an example that I want to share with you on a case study fails, and this is from a big company, right? Microsoft. So the way that they leveraged it is that they published a guide for the best tourist attractions, and people were horrified that it featured a food bank. And so it's just one of those things. And then their caption was even like, consider going into this on an empty stomach. Just like, okay, that's just like not something that people should be looking at from a blog or a social media post. So lesson learned, if you are gonna use a template, is make sure you're fact checking, because AI do not understand information. It follows the patterns, it follows your template, and then it processes it. It doesn't have any awareness. Okay, so again, this is your assistant. It's on you to really leverage it how you need it to. Okay, so that's one thing in terms of templating. On the flip side, this is what I prefer to leverage it. And then the better you get at this, the better the results are going to be. We can look at it from a prompt engineering perspective, which is the alternative to blending in, because you can really take the blueprint, design it, innovate on that, and then see how you can leverage AI in your business. And then from a restaurant analogy perspective, instead of those carbon copies, grayed out, watered down stuff, you get to design how your restaurant would look like, right? So maybe you don't even want just a restaurant. Maybe it's a bakery. I love all types of carby bakery goods. I'm so excited. We have so many different new bakery in our neighborhood. So definitely something that you can take a look at for your business as well. And then I do have a sample in terms of not restaurants, about real estate. And then we can play around with this too. I'll pull up the prompt here in a minute. But if you want to follow along, if you want this into your ChatGPT, which is it's completely free to start with, take a picture of the QR code or go to passionbreakthrough.com/AI marketing prompts, and it would go straight to ChatGPT. You don't have to opt in or anything. I just want to share this with you, okay? So when you go on here, I want to show you a real life example of prompt engineering in action. So I don't know if this is small or big for you in terms of how it looks, but the way that I prompted it, and again, I'll show you the actual ChatGPT here in a minute. The way that I just want to talk about it high level for a second, okay? So the way that I prompted ChatGPT is the fact that I told it like the background, and then I'm just like, okay, well, here's what ChatGPT can do. I gave it the details, the background information, and then again, remember, it works from an existing data right now. So it gave me all of these examples, and then I asked, like I went into more details. This is where I feel like most people jump in and be like, okay, great, that's a list, expand on that. But I want you to slow down. I want you to pause, ask it to clarify, ask it to give you more things to make it better, because your brand and your marketing leads to sales. And the deeper you go into this, the more relevant you make it, the more that you're going to stand out, right? So notice that when I ask it, like the question I ask is, this is a great start. Like, so let me go back to that previous page. So it gave me a list. It gave me like, here's all the content ideas that you can do. And then I'm like, okay, great. Instead of saying like, create me some posts on this, I said like, what else do you need before we create posts? And it says, and the list it gave me is about branding. Remember the bridge analogy I gave you? The first one is branding, about you, because it wants me to be clear on what I have so that it can repurpose and give me the information that I give it, right? This is kind of a conversation between you and AI. Okay, hope that makes sense.
And could you go back to the previous slide real quick, just
Yeah.
with that link again? I think I typed it incorrectly into the chat when I was typing quick, so.
Let me, yes, it's AI marketing prompts. I think there's just an L maybe.
Oh. Yeah, I think I typed all marketing prompts instead of AI marketing prompts.
Yeah, so it's AI marketing prompts. So let me back to
All right, I got the custom GPT. I'll paste that in the chat for folks.
Yep.
If they didn't get there.
Yeah, so let me I'll show the actual prompts too here in a second, because I can do that real quick here. So this is what you should see when you go into like the AI marketing prompts website, is the actual ChatGPT. So again, like you don't have to opt in, you just like either the link or yeah, hopefully that works. I wasn't sure. The reason I wanted to put it behind my link is just in case I make any updates on this. You should be able to get any updates, even if the link change in the future. So so that's that one. And then where were we? I got distracted there for a second. Okay. Let us keep moving forward unless you guys got any questions. Again, slow down, right? Like kind of what we did just there. Because it's okay, right? Like it's okay for you to pause, it's okay for you to ask ChatGPT question, for it to expand what it means, for it to kind of dive deeper with you. This is your partner, right? So don't forget that you're in charge. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that it looks like we're on the same page now. I also asked it because I don't know real estate that well. So it's like, what branding should I use? And then it gave me its suggestions, which is really nice. And this is where I want you to lean into being a better prompt engineer. And that one that the link we shared with you is going to help you with this, because you don't want to just, when ChatGPT asks, okay, do you want me to do this for you now? Instead of saying just yes, I want you to give it instructions. And then I was blown away with the results. Okay. So again, like, it's just like, here's what I did for prompt engineering. Because again, like this is something I'm really good at now, is the fact that it gave me, it even put it in a table. I asked it to put it in a table and it put it in a table. And here's just the first 3 responses: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I also asked it to put it in an email, in TikTok, and all these things. And it also gave me an image. ChatGPT, if you didn't know this, it can do images nowadays. So you can save that prompt we shared and then use that for the future. Please adjust it. This is not a template. This is a prompt. Adjust it for your business. Make tweaks, play around with it, make a few different copies so that you can make it work best for your business, right? So yeah, so I'm really excited that this is becoming better and better every time I use it. Again, it gets better because you also get better in terms of the way you prompt. So here again is the template that the prompt that we used for that. If you need that link again later, I'm sure Vicky or Jenny is able to provide that for you as well. Let us know if you have questions. And then later today, if we have time, we'll run some real life examples. So if anyone in the group wants us to do one for their business, happy to do that as well. Okay. So let's take a look at some tools because I love tools, but it also is just becoming, it's just like overwhelming. Honestly, it's just like, oh, there's new things coming up and the new things are coming up with new features. It gets to be a rabbit hole. And again, as business owners, you don't have time for that. You didn't come into doing your business so that you can be in this rabbit hole of rabbit holes, right? So you want to have that freedom so you can be at a lake, especially with summer coming up. So I want you to do that for yourself. And so let's talk about the big dogs, right? Google and LinkedIn and Facebook, and then we'll talk about other tools. So there's a few things Google is doing from a big, like all the big feature perspective. The first one is their search is changing. So if you are a business owner and you're depending on just traditional SEO, please keep this in mind. I'm slowing down what I'm saying and I'll repeat it again. Is the fact that if you're just like, oh, the old school way of doing things is just like SEO, 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 or like Google reviews, it's changing. We're at the cusp where if you're depending your marketing on just SEO, please take a look at a different avenue potentially to bring in clients because the way that their search is, I don't know if I can like zoom in on this, is the fact that they're giving AI stuff, right? So they're even the page views, you're not in the, even if you're not in the top view, you're not in the suggested, you're not in the sponsored, you're gonna need to have a different way to reach your audience. That's why, like the videos we were showing, you have to be kind of almost omnipresent in the online space. So that's the one thing is, again, Google search algorithm is changing. Please be mindful of that. The second thing, again, ads, we talked about sponsored posts on Google. They are leveraging ads to help you to enhance your performance. So if you're not familiar with the way that Google is working right now with leveraging ads, again, your competition might be leveraging this so that they're able to reach better hyper-focused target market, which means that their money is working harder for them instead of just like putting more money towards their ads, right? So that's the other part. The third piece, I don't know if you guys knew this, but YouTube is part of Google. So AI is now having viewer interactions. So that means that viewers are able to then interact with the videos a little bit. So they can ask AI to be like, okay, well, this is a video I'm interested in. Can you suggest other things for me? Right. So if your video is, like if you're talking about home repair or something like that, then AI can then come in there and then ask the people viewing it to be like, which part of this video did it resonate with you? And then make suggestions from that perspective. Okay, so that's Google and YouTube. Let's have a quick slide about LinkedIn. If you didn't know, LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. So that's the other part of it, is the fact that there's probably other things happening in the Microsoft side of the world, but from a social media and marketing, they're focusing on their HR type of things, hiring, getting you hired, and also their profile is being expanded from a business owner perspective. So you're found a little bit more from an industry expertise. So if you're using their collaborative articles, they're making it a little easier to share your expertise in those articles, and for your profiles to leverage the AI feature to create your profiles as well. So that's LinkedIn. And then Facebook has like 3 slides that I've created because they're kind of bulldogging their way through this, it feels to me. So they have built in Meta AI. It is, if you don't know Meta, it is Facebook, Instagram, Threads, WhatsApp, and I'm sure there's a few other ones. And as a user, you cannot remove the feature of Meta AI. Okay, so if you're using these apps, especially if you have it on your phone as an app, that is a feature that's built in. And as a marketer, you can leverage this tool similar to ChatGPT. So this is just the start. You can use it to ask questions. You can use it to even be your psychologist if you want. So just those kinds of stuff, your astrologer. So definitely Meta AI is kind of functioning from a ChatGPT perspective. And beyond that, they're beta testing a bunch of things. And this is where the scary part happens. So I put it here, like they're leading the way for confusing, blending, expanding real life with unlimited imagination. And when I tested this feature out for the images, it says like sketches, right? So when you put in a drawing, it can make it an animated drawing. So I had a magnet. I don't have it next to me right now, but it's a magnet of a dinosaur because my drawing sucks. So I'm just like, here's a drawing of a dinosaur. But it looks kind of freaky and it still can't do the animation. It does not look like a dinosaur. I don't know for you guys, does this look like a dinosaur? So it's kind of freaky still, which is, for me, it's good. It's not there yet. Or at least they make it seem like it's not there yet. So, so it's not there yet for the dinosaur at least. But they are making it seem like the videos, they're going towards like all these fancy things that you can imagine. Like maybe you can imagine holding a otter or running as in a dinosaur outfit, right? This is where I'm a little bit scared. And it's also good from a marketing standpoint. But again, this is where ethics kind of gets iffy. I imagine a world in the future where you're watching Netflix and then pretty soon your great aunt, grandma, whatever is talking at you and advertising this cool new product that you should try that removes stains from your clothes or something like that. Because now they're generating, mixing reality with products and all these things. So that's just me. That's how I see the future, as cool or grim as that might sound, is where the world is headed. Okay. On top of that,
I'm so glad you're here. I'm so happy
Oh.
to see you.
Okay, 1 second.
Me alegra mucho que estés aquí y me alegra mucho verte.
So this is where Meta's research when I was doing it for their video translation. I don't know if what they're showing me versus what their capabilities behind the scenes actually pair up, but it looks like their video translation and the ability to the talking over is not quite there yet. But they also have Meta Ray-Bans, which as a marketer, I'm kind of curious, would you leverage like the Ray-Bans? Right? Like, and as a business owner, would you allow your clients and your employees to wear it in your shop, inside your business, like your place of employment? It's again, like from an ethics perspective, I'm not quite sure the right answer to this. Each person, I feel like based on your ethics, and then of course, like this is not a legal class. So definitely like talk to your lawyer and your legal assistants in terms of how to implement that into your business. Okay. Okay. So that's Facebook. Let's kind of change the subject a little bit in terms of like expanding outside of the big dogs, right? So there are lots of tools out there that have multi-AI capabilities. We're not going to dive into all of that. One of the examples, this is something I use, so I feel comfortable sharing it, is that there's AI features that can build your funnels, customer support, automate your content, all pre-built into one. So you don't have to go from ChatGPT to this tool to that tool, just kind of have it all into one place. So that's one thing I use. Again, like it can take what used to take you and what used to make people hesitate to leverage like funnels and time suck and energy vampires. It can just take minutes now, right? Even a sales funnel like this thing, I literally just said like, I want a funnel that can generate more leads and book appointments, and the content should feel inspirational. And then, of course, I told it I want it for real estate. It pulled graphics, it pulled the text, and it put it into this layout for me. And so it just generated it within minutes of me telling it what to do. So that's what it can do from a lead generation for your marketing perspective.
Here's one question.
I don't know why it still autoplays.
Here's
I wish.
one question.
1 second.
If AI can business, what would you do with all the extra time?
Okay, so this was the video I showed you earlier. So I just wanted to tell you what the tools that I use are, which is 11 Labs and HeyGen. So if you're not familiar with those, this is advanced. So I just want to pause here and tell you that there are plenty of tools out there. The way that I've leveraged this is that I've trained my voice, and then I also trained a video. I recorded myself. It literally took 2 minutes of me doing a video of me in my own office, this is not a virtual background. This is actually from Hobby Lobby. I like to tell clients it's like plaster juicy offers instead of spaghetti on the wall. So that's why I have this oranges and citrus in my background. So that's why I was able to make it look and sound like me. So that is definitely something that you could do. And then completely voiced by AI. You could use these kinds of stuff when, let's say, you're doing marketing for social media, TikTok, all these things, and as you're doing client onboarding and training your team members and stuff like that. So again, you are the face of your business instead of just like some generified AI avatar, right? So that is why I personally prefer having this over just like animated looking avatars out there. So that is why I wanted to share those as far as tools go. And one thing I want you to remember is that as you explore all these tools, this is our goal. From a marketing standpoint, I want you to research, create, repurpose, and convert, because we want you to close the gaps, which is like make sales, and not just like get distracted with all these tools and what could be and stuff like that. And then I don't know why that plays. So I want you, it's gonna keep playing, isn't it? So let's see if because I have that in the next few slides. I want you to really focus on these next tasks, which is prompting your ChatGPT or prompting AI in general, so that you could make it to make sure it's giving you what you need in your business, instead of just like having it to create things that's too generified. So that is the one thing. And then after that, I want you to create. So from the prompting to the creation, and then you can repurpose and distribute to all of these different things. And then again, like we're going to have you to convert, which is like the lead generation form and stuff like that. And then the next one, it's going to play again, but I do want to show you the tools. So I love tools. So the list of tools, in addition to what Vicky has shared, is some of them you most likely already know. So let me share that screen real quick. Here's a fun question I have. If AI can replace the mundane tasks in your business, what would you do with all the extra time? Okay, so it's kind of getting annoying me asking about that question, but it is a good question, right? So actually, side note, that video was 3 minutes long. And the way that it was, I could make it up to half an hour long. So that's the other power of these tools, the ElevenLabs and HeyGen, is that it can create really long form videos anymore with your voice and with your image. So ChatGPT is one thing that we've mentioned, but there's also alternatives. Cloud AI, I like it for like the emotional side, like it can handle more emotions. And then Gemini, which is Google. I just got a note today, actually, that Google is embedding it into their Google Drive tools. So that's the other thing that you can take a look at. Minvo is to do short form videos, and Pop AI for presentations. I did not use any presentation AI tools for this one, but you could definitely take a look at Pop AI if you're just like, you need something quick in terms of just like making a presentation for yourself. You could just give it some prompts and then it would spit out a presentation for you. Canva, which is what I use here, can also create some images for you now. And I'm sure they're improving that as well in the back end. As far as like repurposing, there's SocialBee, CastMagic, all of these different tools. I think if you're not familiar with this this tool, it's kind of addicting, but AppSumo, I believe CastMagic is like a lifetime or like a yearly small ticket offer right now in AppSumo for CastMagic. And then again, like CRMs, all of these other things, CEO Growth Pro is what I use. Take a look at that because they most likely will have those pre-built as well. Oh, where was I? I think we only have a couple slides here left. So as we wrap up, it's going to autoplay again one last time, I promise. AI. Okay, so as we wrap up, answer that question for yourself, right? And then also, when it comes to your AI journey, take it one step at a time, right? Like again, what would you do with that extra time, and let AI help you to serve more clients and have magnetic content and standout presence, because that's what we're here for. We want to take that bridge. You guys like that analogy, so now use it for your business. Don't just be like, that was cool, but now just put it in the tiny corner of the internet, right? So, and then this is something that I like to tell people, is that you are the CEO. So whether you decide to leverage tools or not, it is your job to be the strategic guide and to emotionally connect your mission with all parties involved, which is your team and your clients. So just be mindful of that, that is something that AI cannot replace for your business, right? And then as we wrap up too, I do want to know which of this really resonates with you, right? So if you feel like you've learned insights that are relevant to your needs, you're going to dig deep in terms of that, analyzing what you are going to do with the tools. So let us know, type a 1 if you're just like, I'm just going to absorb all of this. I need to continue to learn. If you're excited, you're going to implement some of these, maybe play around with some tools, type a 2. And then if you are going to have a team, we are seeing some 3s and some 2s. So that is great. You guys are taking action. I love it. So that is what we have. We have some 2s in the room and 3s. So that's great. I love action takers. So I'm so excited for you guys on this. Thank you for coming in this session. And I am at Passion Breakthrough. Again, that's the name of my business. I'm on all things on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Connect with me. And if you want to have a virtual coffee chat, or if you want me to drive up, or you're coming in the cities, let's connect. That is what I have. This is what I love doing and helping with my clients. So let me know if there's any questions. And again, like if anyone wants us to do a quick, we have a few minutes here. So if you have anything that you want to bring up for questions, and or if you want to do a prompt with ChatGPT, we can do that right now. And then I'm going to end.
We should, Diane. I think it would be good. I'll pause and remind folks, you can get assistance from Northland SBDC if you're joining us live. Just a reminder to please fill out that survey when you close Zoom to let us know if this was helpful for you and what kind of resources you'd like to see brought to you in the future. But absolutely, Diane, I think we should look at maybe dissecting that prompt that you shared in ChatGPT earlier about, you started with kind of a template that you talked about, right? Of like, here's what I'm looking to do, but then you really engineered the conversation to get to what you want. And I think that process, walking through it, seeing it is so valuable as a foundation of the prep work to leverage into all of these specialty marketing tools that are available and like changing every day. I could probably list 30 different tools, right? That I use, that others I know are using, that hit every single niche. And so, are you able to share your screen, or would you prefer that I do that? Yeah. Oh, great.
So
Look
this
at
one
that.
right here, right? Okay. So let's, if anyone wants to volunteer and like type a me, and then we'll kind of ask you some questions in the chat in terms of just like doing it for your business. We can restart this also. That might be fun if you guys are up for that, or we could, I feel like I'm just like one way talking at you guys, and that's fun to a degree, but I've been doing it for like 40 some minutes now. So let's help. Let's make sure, again, like this is, I want this to be interactive. I want this to work for you guys. It sounds like we're getting people to take actions at the end of this conversation, which is great. If nobody's being brave, so
Well, and that's okay. I think you gave a really good example, Diane, that folks can kind of pattern them for themselves. So like
yes.
when I look at your initial post that you did, like your initial chat into ChatGPT, you gave a little context, right? That you're working with a client in real estate. She wants to create social media posts. So you're talking a little bit about what you want to do. And you started to add some details that I think are really useful. Like she doesn't want to create repetitive content, right? Because most people only, do this once. So what kind of content? And so you use ChatGPT as a brainstormer to start. Right. You didn't start with like, I need a post to list a house, you started a little bit more organically, and I think there's value in that.
Yeah. And again, like going back to the bridge example that
Here's
we
a fun
had.
question I have. Here's
ah.
a fun question I have.
Oh my goodness. And that is
Video is haunting us still.
I know. So I was going to go back to the bridge in terms of the fact that, like, again, like you want to take people from prompting to creating and then repurposing. People jump steps, I feel like sometimes where they just like go into like, well, I have this goal. You have to start with the end in mind, which is like if your goal is to like create a content and get it out there into like 2 or 3 different avenues, you do have to start with that end in mind, but you have to back up a few steps in terms of if I want to do this well, and if I don't want to have to redo it multiple times, how can I do that without sounding like everyone else, right? So again, prompt engineering is also reverse engineering. So go with that and then step back. So yeah, so we can dive into this a little bit and dissect it some more. That's kind of fun too.
Yeah, let's do that. Like walk through the next steps of what were those other prompts, maybe talk a little bit about why. And then once we wrap through that kind of dissection of the process of prompt engineering, I saw we have a question in the chat we'll make sure to hit
Yeah.
before we end today as
That
well.
sounds great.
So you reaffirmed, you said, all right, that's a good start, ChatGPT, but you helped curate this conversation, and I really love this, right? Of before we dive into the content creation, what do you need to know? You asked ChatGPT, what ChatGPT do you need to know for this interaction to be successful? And if folks walk away with one thing from today's training, I kind of hope this is contentious maybe, but I kind of hope it's this. You can ask generative AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini and others. You can ask them what they need to give you the kind of output you need. It's yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great.
We don't know what we don't know, right? And ChatGPT has been fed, like all these tools have been fed with so many knowledge collectively as humans. We've given it enough. So by now, like we can learn from each other through these tools. So it's not that you're learning from ChatGPT, you're learning from the collective knowledge of humans. So that's the way I like to look at it because I want us to learn from each other from that perspective. So yeah, so to Vicky's point, right? So at first we gave it the knowledge that we have in our business. Again, I want you to stand out. So this is about us, about your business. So from there, I want ChatGPT to help me expand on that. So I'm just like, okay, I gave you what I think I know. Is there anything else that I might be missing? Help me out here, ChatGPT. So it gave me information that's just like, hey, like for ChatGPT to do a better job, here's some things that we need to talk about a little bit, which is again the branding. Give me a little bit about you, Diane, right? Like give me a little bit about your client in real estate, so that it doesn't dilute the message, which is branding. So again, it knows enough from what is working out there in the industry because of the collective knowledge. So definitely that is what's happening here. And then when we scroll down here, I just gave it the information. I just listed it out as it asked it. And then I even asked it, just like, is that enough? Right? Like, so some questions that you can ask it is that, what else do you need? Do you need us to dive deeper? Do you want us to expand on anything? If what it asks you doesn't make sense, ask it. Be like, I don't know what you mean. Can you elaborate what that means? And then go with that. It's kind of like having a conversation with somebody in a safe environment, right? Like it's not like you're going to a stranger and not necessarily knowing them. And if they're going to judge you or not, ChatGPT won't judge. So that's the other advantage. And then also because I'm just like, well, you're talking about branding, like suggest some branding to me, right? Like you could even give it multiple different things. And then you don't even have to just go one and then wait for the respond and then ask something else. I gave it like 2-3 different instructions and it was able to do that for me. So that's the other thing there. Is there anything here, Vicky or Jenny, before we jump to the next prompt?
I think it's good. And looking at the question we had in the chat, is there such a thing as too much detail when writing a prompt? And I think my response is not necessarily. I mean, like, yes, there is a point when you write like pages of info that might kind of confuse the generative AI. There are practical limits to like how long a chat can be before the AI starts getting kind of confused. I don't like to personify AI, but it's there's limits there. That being said, an approach that is really effective once you kind of get used to it is give it 2/3 of the information you think it needs to know, and then ask it, if we're going to be doing this task together, what else do you need to know, ChatGPT? And it'll help guide you through that. And then you don't have to sit there and rack your brain about, did I include every little detail? Make it easy for yourself. Use the tool. And I saw Don in our chat really summed it up well of context, role, interview, task, right? So give it some context, define the role that the generative AI is supposed to play, interview it a little bit, have that back and forth conversation, challenge the output a little bit, tell it when it's not right, tell it if the tone is wrong, tell it if it's not giving you the output you want, and task it to give you that output. So yeah, what did
Sure.
you asked it, you gave it more context, you said, is this enough for us to move forward? And summarize it, for like, repeat it back to me. So what did that look like as you went down in the prompt, Diane?
Yeah, so as we go down the prompt, it is giving me the summary of the brand because I wanted to summarize it and then also give some suggestions, right? So this is the suggestions to the brand visuals as well. And then the palettes and all these things. So it is very detailed. I could have asked it to put it in a table format. I like having it put it in a table format, but I didn't this time. So I could just copy paste this into a Word document or Canva or anything else like that. And then now it's just like, okay, it's like rushing me. And I don't like that. I'm always just like, let's pause. Like to Don's point, it's just like, is there any other context I can add into this or it can add to this? Can I expand on this role? Is this the right role that is wanting to do? You're in charge, right? Like you don't get to have ChatGPT to dictate what's going to be the next step. And then again, like interview it a little bit more or give it the task. But if you were okay, so if you're paying somebody to do this for like, let's say $50 an hour or like whatever amount of money you want to give it, would you just say yes, please, right? Without saying like how you want to do it for your business, right? So that's why the way that I like to do this is like, this is how I want you to do this. This is my business. And this is the way that it's for these platforms that I'm in for my business. Here's the type of post that I like to do to connect with my clients. And then also like I wanted to have call to action because I'm not just going to create content for the sake of creating content because it's fun. And then here's how I want you to structure it. And then, like asking it to have some structures, especially if it's a carousel, to have like slides, a script, so that if I need to create the video, it's creating the script for me for podcasts or anything like that. Subject line, if it's an email, what's the goal, right? So in terms of the goal of the content it's creating, sometimes it's just to promote a product or to build trust. So I wanted to tell me, so at least we're on the same page. And then I can ask it again, going back to the interview, it's like, no, that's not a good goal. That's not a goal I have in my business. So I can train it kind of like you would train an employee. And then any hashtags, because again, like I don't have time to research what hashtags. And then I also know that these are things that, because from a marketing background, I know that you should hit up different types of subcategories. You don't just want to be in the million views or the small views. You want to be in different categories, at least for what it is right now. So I tell it specifically how I want the hashtags to be. And then I just want it to be able to copy paste it. Sometimes it like puts it into like bullet points and it's just like, that's annoying. And then any other notes, right? Like you can even tell it like as it's doing the caption for you, the content for you, you can tell it like how many emojis you want, if you want it in paragraph form, in a friendly tone or anything like that. So that is how I usually prompt it. And then again, like I want to recommend an image. And so it gave me that. and then also like put it into this fancy dancy table format so I can put it in a Google spreadsheet and give it to my team. So that is what I did there. What conversations do we want to have with this?
Yeah. It's so great. And thanks for sharing this really valuable example and tool with us, Diane. I think for a lot of folks that are maybe not marketing experts in their day to day, but they're doing it as part of the umbrella of so many things that they do as a small business, having an example, I wouldn't have thought of, because I'm not a marketing expert, like, oh yeah, I need to have hashtags that are in these different, levels of views, right? And so to have that knowledge that you're sharing, Diane, really appreciate it, and walking through a little bit of why you had each of those 10 steps in the prompt. I think it's a great thing for folks to take and adapt for their own businesses as they move forward. We're getting close on time. I'd open it up for any other chat questions folks have in the chat. But really, my takeaways from today, and Diane, you may have some you want to share as well. This is a really rapidly changing field. You talked about it a little bit earlier of like big things are changing. I think especially in that video and voice creation, and everyone's going to have to kind of choose where they fall and what kinds of tools they're comfortable with. And looking at the practical side of it as well of there are hundreds of specialty tools out there that can help you with your marketing. And you got to decide a little bit as a small business, how many custom videos are you going to make each month, right? Is it worth $40 or $60 a month for a specialty tool? And the answer might be yes, because again, the whole purpose of us doing the series is so that you as entrepreneurs can regain your time and use that to spend time with your family, time in your community, work on your business instead of in your business. So I'm really excited, and thanks for both sharing the how-to on the like simple ChatGPT side, as well as some of those specialty tools out there. Diane, do you have anything else you want to add to summarize today's webinar?
I'm really excited for the next one, which I'll be sharing a little bit more extra tools. So we're going to talk about Google and reviews. I know we were talking about like the SEO is changing and stuff like that, so that you can also leverage tools for that side of your business. So I'll be sharing, because I know we didn't get into the voice AI and how to leverage chat from like the user chat and stuff like that. So I'll be bringing those kinds of insights in the next time that we talk.
Yeah, awesome. We're excited to have you back as well as our other presenter in our set of 5 webinars here in spring 2025. We also have a live in-person conference coming for those that are either in Northeast Minnesota or West Central Minnesota. We're going to be in Moorhead and Carlton this coming June. And so for folks that are tuning in, watch for that opportunity to open up as well. Great. Thanks everyone today. I'm going to stop the webinar recording. And again, please be sure to fill out the survey if you are attending live, and be sure to hit up northlandsbdc.org if you're looking for one-on-one assistance for your small business.